Hey guys, welcome back. This is the 12-month update. So I started this time last year on July 17th using the AJAP method, and now it's July 17th, 2024. So let's jump right in to my level. Those are my Anki stats there on the screen, and you can see what I'm up to, around about 6,000 something words or sentences. And you might be able to see as well that I had a pretty bad day yesterday. I went to Japan for 5 days and I didn't do any reps, and then I came back and I thought it was gonna take me about 3 days to get through them, but I just decided to not do anything at all yesterday apart from focus on my reps. So the time there is 4 hours and I went through about 1,300 cards, which was not fun. And I do not recommend it, and I do not recommend skipping days on your Anki reps. My brain was melting by the time I finished that. So I really marked that milestone in an interesting way there by missing reps for the first time for that little trip. But I made it back, and now back on track. So let's go through, let's start with writing, which I do not care about at all. So writing, no progress there at all. Reading, I really still just read while going through my reps, or I'm reading subtitles when I'm watching something. I did buy Ready Player One. That was a recommendation I saw on the Brit versus Japan blog. So I thought, that sounds good. I like the movie, so let me try the book. I've read about 2 pages of it and it was hard, so that's definitely a weak spot. But I'll probably just still focus on listening, and maybe before I sleep, put my phone down, get rid of that blue light, and just, end my day with reading maybe a couple pages of that. It's gonna take me a while, I can already tell. Listening, I would say I'm still basically in intermediate hell, which is a term that I saw on the old AJAP blog. And intermediate hell is sort of like, it's been a year, my Anki cards are up to, 6,000-ish. And sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have bad days, and you start having these questions creep up into your mind like, why aren't I getting any better? When am I gonna see the light? When is the fog gonna clear? And well, the answer on the blog was to just keep going. When you're at this level, just keep going. Language learning is not difficult in the sense of, you need to use your brain in order to figure something out, to figure out a problem. It's really difficult in the sense of time. It's more of a time thing and a perseverance thing. Like, it's not, do you have the IQ to figure out Japanese? It's, do you have perseverance? Do you have the ability to keep moving forward even though you can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, and just have hope? Actually, it's not even hope, because really it's a fact. If you keep going, the fog will clear. So just keeping that in your mind and just moving forward no matter what, and not expecting to see big jumps of improvement every day. I will say this though, as I was listening to a podcast today, I will say the language is no longer too fast for me to hear. I can pick up on words that I know. I've stopped translating. If you saw a video I made a few weeks back, how to listen properly, that has definitely helped. I'm not trying to translate anymore. I'm just listening and just taking it in, and not thinking too much and not worrying too much. But I do notice that I don't think things are too fast. Like, if there's a word I don't know, I can probably repeat the word and be like, oh, what does that mean? So I feel like that's a sort of milestone in my listening that's happened sort of in the last month or so as well. And what that comes down to really, it just means that my vocabulary is still not there yet. So if I'm hearing words and I can say the word and I can pull it out of the sentences and the speaking that's being said, it just means that my vocabulary is not there, as I said. So again, it's just a matter of keep going, and eventually I'll be able to understand more things. Speaking, as far as speaking goes, I still don't really try to speak. As I also said in a few videos back, I think the transitionary or bridge phase between input and output is probably texting. So I do use the ChatGPT bot for texting a little bit, and so my output has improved a little bit. Someone left a comment on a video the other day, I posted a couple of shorts there of my time in Fukuoka and Osaka, and they asked, did I output? And I did a little bit. We were going out every night, and we met a lot of people, and some people, the English is not that good in Japan. That's true, at least not the people we met, but we were still able to communicate a little bit. People have a little bit of English, and I did speak a little bit of Japanese, but you know, not a lot. But I will say this, if you want to get a point across, I think what I realized was, because I'm always doing Anki reps and I'm looking at full sentences and, you know, perfect sentences that I've taken from text or TV, in my head I'm thinking, oh, I've got to be able to speak in perfect sentences. And that was something that, even when I was practicing on ChatGPT, I couldn't put a big sentence together. But then you find, like, in person, I noticed the way that people would speak English to me who didn't really speak English, and I'm like, well, oh, I can just speak Japanese in the same way, which is sort of just, you understand the gist of what they say, and then you reply back with what you can. So you're not focusing on perfection, you're focusing on just, like, for example, if someone might have said, like, oh, do you travel a lot? And then you can reply like, no, too busy, something like that. You know, you can still communicate with, like, broken Japanese and broken English. So I was able to talk a little bit, but it was just for fun. It wasn't really my focus. I'm still not focused on speaking at all. Again, I might wait until September, October, and maybe, you know, find somebody online, maybe an italki or something like that. But right now, I'm not worried about speaking. Also, with speaking, I realized even more the value of listening, because when I could get a point across, or when I could say something, when they reply, often I was still like, what? You know, it's like the scene on The Matrix, they're just firing bullets at you and you're just trying to dodge them. Well, I'm not trying to dodge them, I'm actually trying to catch them, but I couldn't. So again, just illustrated that I need to just keep going on the listening. So my Anki stats, as I said a few videos back, I'm about 2 to 3 months behind, and that was owing to something that I forgot happened, which was, I guess, in August, September last year, I kind of was using one deck and I got rid of it, and then I started making my own deck, and then during that time, I think I just, you know, the reps that I'd done on that old deck were not counted. Or no longer exist. So then I found that I'm like 2 or 3 months behind, and that's why September for me is my real 1 year milestone in the context of Anki. And the reason I say that is, I often look at Brit versus Japan, because he seems to be the only person I could find who is kind of going as hardcore as I am. And at his 12-month mark, he was at 7,100. So in September, I'll be at 7,500. So I remember him saying things like, you know, I can read most things, my input is really improved. So I'm trying to correlate that with how far he was in his Anki. So he's still, his 1 year mark and my 1 year mark now, he's still about 1,500 cards ahead of me or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to September as my real kind of 1 year milestone in the context of Anki. Having said that though, as I've said in previous videos, I am now adding 22 words a day just to catch up. So by the time I do hit the 18-month mark, I do have 10,000 or a little bit over 10,000 words on my deck. So I'm still gonna hit that milestone. So going forward, really just much of the same. I immerse mostly from podcasts, and then I'll have like a session of watching a TV show. Usually I'm still just watching one episode or something for my sentence mining, because it is still a bit of a slog. But I am down about 50% per episode for mining words. So when I first started mining from anime, it was like 70 plus words, because I wasn't aiming for 22 words, I was aiming for one episode, and then however many unknown sentences there were in that episode, I would take all of them. My goal was to get through one episode. So one episode would take me, you know, an hour and a half maybe, but you know, that was the goal. Now I get through episodes a lot quicker, and now I'm around, I'd say, 20 to 40 words per episode. So it's come down from around about 70, 60, 70 plus, which is good. And there's been one instance where I had to watch 2 episodes in order to get 22 words, but that's only happened once. But obviously that's the goal, and that's a good way to measure progress, is how quickly am I gonna get through shows. So I went down from mining 70 words a show, and now it's like 30 something. And I've done that in about 3 seasons of about 12, let's say in 40 episodes of anime, I've cut it down that much. So hopefully when I get to maybe 100 episodes of TV or anime, I will be starting to need to watch 1 or 2 episodes of something in order to get those 22 words. But right now I have a backlog of about 1,500 words, so I don't think I'll be worrying about, you know, getting enough words for a while. Apart from that, yeah, podcasts, and at night I'll watch a YouTube video, or I'll just watch a bunch of YouTube videos that are more my level. So Akane, her YouTube channel, Shun, his YouTube channel, Comprehensible Japanese or Comprehensible Input Japanese. And if I want to compare myself to, for example, a Japanese child, I might check out a Saze-san or a Doraemon or something like that and see how much I can follow. Right now, still not that great. So right now I'm mining from Chobits, which I would recommend as a good first anime actually. I was watching Hajime no Ippo, which was a boxing anime, which a lot of people really like, and it was fun, but it just got a little bit too heavy on boxing vocabulary. And I just thought, it just got a bit too heavy with that. It was kind of started getting into, it kind of started being a slog to get through an episode. So I switched to Chobits, which I think is a classic anime, and it's more slice of life, and there's not that many weird characters with weird voices. And funnily enough, if you know what Chobits is about, it's basically about a guy who finds sort of an android, it's called a Pesocon, on the streets, and they're like really smart, and he starts living with this android, and a good part of it is he starts actually teaching the android how to speak Japanese. So that was like a nice touch. So he's explaining, like, you know, what do you say when you come home, and what do you say when you leave, and then, you know, he'll be explaining like what different words mean in Japanese. So I thought that was a nice touch for him to be like teaching a robot how to speak Japanese, and then you're like, you're getting something out of that as well. You know, obviously it's natural speed, but I just find it easier to follow. So if you're looking for a first anime to watch that's not made for kids, I would recommend Chobits. It's a bit weird, it's a little bit pervy, which tells me it's not really made for kids, but it's still watchable. The first few animes I watched, I didn't really enjoy. I was just kind of slogging through them, but this is not bad. And there aren't that many unknown words, and yeah, I just find it a good one, especially if you're starting out. So yeah, to wrap up, nothing much else to report. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I will reply to everybody. And really, it's much of the same. I think right now I'm slap dab in the middle of intermediate hell. These thoughts do creep up where you're like, when am I gonna, like, when is there gonna be a moment? But I've been through this before with Chinese. And I know that it's normal, and I know that the path to success is to just be like a beagle dog and put your nose on the ground and just keep walking forward, and don't worry too much about what's in the distance. The key to success is really just to keep doing what I'm doing, and it's really as simple as that. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that, and look forward to the next milestones, which are really just, I will stick with making a video once a month just for that diary log, so I can look back on in the future. But I think there are going to be 2 big milestones. September, which is when I'll be around 7,500 words in Anki, which will be probably around 5,000 mature cards locked in, maybe more. And then of course, January, the 18-month mark. But I will make videos every month just in case something happens. Or if you have any questions, I can make videos on that as well, on my experience with this journey. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.